Welcome to this introduction video on Blue Demon's ER70S-6 filler wire. In this video, we will discuss some of the details of this electrode, some safety concerns and how to deal with them, and a short demonstration of the product. ER70S-6 is one of the most popular mild steel filler metals. It is used in the process of gas tungsten arc welding, GTAW, better known as TIG welding, or in the gas metal arc welding, GMAW, better known as MIG welding. One of the first questions you may have about this product: what do the letters and numbers mean? Filler metals are manufactured into different forms and classified into different categories. In our case, the classification is ER, which stands for electrode or rod. Other classifications could include E for electrode, R for rod, or B for brazing, just to name a few. Electrode simply means the filler metal carries the welding current in the process. Adversely, a rod does not carry the welding current and is heated by another source. Next, we take the first two numbers, which in our case is 70. This is the tensile strength of the filler metal given in pounds per square inch, or PSI. You can take the 70, multiply it by 1,000, thus giving you 70,000 PSI of tensile strength. In the fifth position, we have an S. This letter indicates the wire is solid. And finally, the last position indicates the level of deoxidizing and cleaning agents of the electrode. This value could be anything from 2 to 7, which in our case is 6. The higher the number indicates a greater level of weld pool cleaning action. With this high level of cleaning action, this wire can produce high quality welds over mill scale, rust, with poor fit up or oily surface. Welding over surface impurities can lower the mechanical properties, but not normally below specifications of this classification. ER70S-6 comes in roll form, as seen here. These rolls are used in the MIG process. It's also manufactured in rod form for the TIG welding process. When using ER70S-6, you should set your machine to DC electrode positive, abbreviated DCEP. There are a few options for shielding gas when using ER70S-6. I would recommend starting with C25 or C100. This electrode can weld in all positions: flat, vertical, overhead, or horizontal. ER70S-6 is probably the most widely used filler metal for carbon steels. Because of the silicon additive, it has improved fluidity or wetting action when welding. ER70S-6 is used in a wide array of applications. Some of the common uses are in the automotive industry, racing industry, and general fab shop work. Check out Blue Demon's website for more product details and instructions on using ER70S-6. Let's stop here for just a moment before I begin the demonstration portion. We need to talk about safety. The welding process can produce light, harmful light, fumes, sparks, and flying slag, just to name a few. You should always wear the proper clothing and safety gear while welding. This includes, but is certainly not limited to, a welding hood, welding jacket or long sleeve shirt. I would suggest cotton or wool, as synthetic materials may melt to your skin. Next, select the proper thickness of gloves, ear protection, and safety glasses. One should always wear eye protection during the welding process. Here's a tip. Many welders will wear a small respirator like the one seen here. It filters out some of the harmful things floating in the air. The other thing it does is direct the hot air you breathe down and out of your hood. If you've ever welded before, you know the lens can become so fogged you can't see anything. Other safety concerns exist in your shop. You will want your welding area to be free of flammable materials such as shop rags or paper towels. You should keep flammable or combustible liquids properly stored away from any source of heat or sparks. Because of the high risk of fire, you'll want to keep a fire extinguisher close by. Also, you'll want to check all electrical cords and cables periodically. You don't want any frayed or exposed wires. Next, you'll want to make sure all cylinders are secured properly while in use or in storage. Now that we've covered the safety portion, I'll set up a few test coupons and run a few beads. Today, I'll be using the Blue Demon 140 MSTI. This is an inverter style machine that runs on a standard 120 volt outlet. This unit is also referred to as a multi-process welder, which means it can weld using multiple welding processes. During this demonstration, I'll provide some general welding tips I use in the shop. When welding, you want to make the best weld you can, so you want to be as comfortable as you can get. You should attempt to find something to rest or prop your hand or arm against to make your task a little easier. For example, attach a C-clamp to your part or welding table to brace yourself. Anytime I'm going to weld, I always find a scrap piece of steel to pad beads on. This gets my hand-eye coordination back in sync so I can run the best bead that I can. I'm not a welder by trade, so I really need all the help I can get. Things I work on when padding beads are electrode or torch angle, travel speed, distance to workpiece, heat or amperage selection, and if I need any type of electrode manipulation. Next, make a few dry runs. What are dry runs, you ask? This is when you go through all the motions of welding, but you're not actually welding. This will ensure you can complete your weld and nothing is in your way. When MIG welding, you need a small gap between the workpiece and the tip of the MIG gun. This gap is known as contact tip to work distance, or CTWD. If you're new to welding, start out with a CTWD between 1/4 and 3/8 of an inch. This will get you in the ballpark. Pushing or pulling of the MIG gun is a discussion in itself, which would take an entire video to cover. I would like to say that you should choose what works best for you, and if your task requires one technique over the other. If you're using a self-shielding filler metal, you will need to pull or drag the MIG gun. This is due to the wire having a flux core for shielding the weld pool. Always remember this: if you have slag, you must drag. My last tip is one that can apply to MIG or TIG welding. It's the 3 C's of welding. Clean, clean, clean. Keep your metal clean as possible. You will want to clean all the oil, paints, rust, etc. off your steel before welding. This is particularly important for the TIG process. When TIG welding, you'll want to take extreme measures to ensure all parts are clean. When I'm welding important things, I use acetone to clean everything before welding, especially your filler wire and tungsten. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today, and please remember Blue Demon for all your welding needs. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.